Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Abe with MysticGenmara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your elemental energy reading for the month of July of 2026 for the element of air. Air covers the zodiac signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So if you are Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or have air high up in your chart, this message is for you. If you've never had your charts read or you want an updated version, there is a link in the description to a natal chart. It's just a basic chart through Llewellyn, and it's not sponsored or anything like that. It's just a really good tool if you're curious to get one done. The rest of the links down there are affiliate links, so that does support the channel when you click through those. With that, we will get started with our first our energy here, which is the I-ching. I cast the hexagram before the video, and air, you have number 54. And 54 is titled The Marriageable Maiden. Sounds like air could have a fun time. Your text is, the marriageable maiden advance brings misfortune. No goal or destination is favorable, which sounds completely contrary to the title. But what it's really saying is, you don't need to do the work here. Don't go pushing things around. Just go with the flow this month. No goal or destination is favorable. When you're in the flow state, you're kind of vaguely aware of where you're headed, but it's not I have these steps I have to take. This is not a good time for that, is what I'm hearing. So your foundation line down here on the bottom is, the maiden marries and becomes a concubine. The lame can walk. To advance brings good fortune. So it sounds contradictory. The maiden marries and becomes a concubine, meaning you're not the first wife. Because if you look back to the olden days, that was a pretty common thing, is to have multiple wives, especially with the wealthier people. And so yes, you may not be the first in a situation. You may not be the top dog in whatever it is you're dealing with, but the lame can walk. To advance now brings good fortune. So even if you don't get that top spot, it doesn't mean you're in a bad place. It means, yes, things are improving, and so you can actually move forward here. Does it mean that it all happened the way you originally intended or your plan? No. What it says is, the lame can walk, meaning even if you are not where you want to be or some misfortune occurred, you're still going to be able to move forward and get to where you want to be. Just maybe not in the way you thought. Your second place line is, the one-eyed man can see. Righteous persistence brings advantage to the recluse. Even if you feel like you don't know what direction is going on, even if you feel like things are just not going for you this month, even a one-eyed man can see. Even if things do not look great, it doesn't mean they're bad. It means maybe you have to look at things from a different perspective. Righteous persistence brings advantage to the recluse. Righteous persistence, your morals, your ethics, the core values of what you believe a good person is what's going to advance you. And that's also going to help you step out of your bubble. You may see things in a bad place because you're not being authentic to yourself, air. And that's not a comfortable message. That is a message of, oh, you mean I have to do something? Oh, no, I don't want to change. Kind of what's being called for here. Our third place line, from being a servant, the marriageable maiden becomes the concubine. And so it's really saying that you're not made in this instance for whatever that thing is that you're shooting for. There is a little bit of a commentary here. So what does the book say? A small advance is made, but nothing is satisfying. So you're still in that position of growth, air, but it doesn't mean that you're in the position you want to be in. Like, you have... It's almost like your soul is saying, listen, we're going to give you something here, but your ego's like, but it's not what I want. Your ego's being a little bit of a brat this month is what I'm feeling. So learn to differentiate between the two and get into that righteous path aspect, your goals, your values, your ethics, your morals. And when you're in that ethics, morals, and core value system, things are going to go a lot better. Your direction may shift. We'll put it that way. So our fourth place line, The maiden stays unwed beyond the proper time, but the day comes when she makes a late marriage. The reward will come when you are ready for it. Pushing too fast is what I'm feeling with this, is how things kind of go askew. July is not a strong month for air. This is not a time of swift and decisive pushing forward action. This is a month where you may have to just take a pause on some things. Let things settle down, and then watch what opportunities Source brings forward, because this energy that's here, the maiden stays unwed beyond the proper time. In a lot of cultures, once you hit about 25 and you're not married, you're kind of like, what's wrong? But it does say that when the day comes, she will make a late marriage. So things may happen, just not when you anticipate them. Don't give up on things, but maybe just take a pause and be like, okay, is this really the direction I want my life to go? Or is this really the direction I want this thing to happen? Because there might be something better that Source is trying to be like, listen, I'm showing you other options, you're refusing to look. So this is that vibe that's coming up here. Our 5th place line: the Emperor's second marriageable daughter wore regal garments less splendid than those of her bridesmaids. Close upon the full moon comes good fortune. What does that mean with bridesmaids? The implication is that the princess showed better taste than her maid and not dressed too grandly. So again, you're not wanting to be the one who stands out. You do not want to be the one who's the loudest or the most bombastic in the situation. The energy is really saying you want to be less than. And it's not saying you're staying there, but you feel it's a better urge. This whole situation is, you're going to get your reward in due time. If you try to go beyond that, things were going to go askew. If you like Chinese, Japanese type movies, there's a movie back in the day that came out called The Curse of the Golden Flower. Really fantastic movie. I'm not linking it or anything. I'm just saying it's a good movie. But there's a point where the emperor is telling his son, never take what I do not give. That's what Source is saying here. Air, in due time, you will get your reward, but don't go rushing, putting the cart before the horse. Everything happens in the right time for the right reason. So our capstone here is, a woman holds a basket with nothing inside. A man stabs a sheep without drawing blood. No goal or destination is favorable. You don't have to know what's coming next, Air. And you want to live in logic, reason, and the mind, which is great. But this month, use your mind to another task. What else can you do with it? What kind of story are you going to write? What kind of creation are you going to build? But planning things out long term, trying to restructure your existence, that's not going to be a strong point this month for our Air family. And that's not a knock. It's just mainly saying, you do a lot of work, Air, and you've done a lot of things building up to this point. Now is no longer the time for action for you. It's a time for letting someone else lead, letting something else go forward. And Source is the one who's wanting to lead, so you don't have to be the one steering the ship. Let the captain, the big captain, that one up there, let them deal with it. You just kind of enjoy the ride, enjoy that cruise that you're on. You're going to end up in a better place. You may end up with a blessing in disguise, a blessing that you didn't expect, and you may end up in a spot you never would have thought you would have been in. Possibly bigger than what your original plan was, because Source has other ideas for you, Air. And this month is the time where you get to let go, as the old saying says, and let God. So play with that a little bit this month. Now we'll hop into your cards and see if that any more clarity we can get here. For July, there's about 5 weeks. I read week by week. Each week we look at a guide or guardian, a message from Source, and then a little more clarification from the tarot. Before we hop into the cards, if you don't mind, like, comment, subscribe. And if you see something different with any of the cards that I'm showing, because I read intuitively, feel free to leave your intuitions and your thoughts down below. It's always interesting to hear other people's opinions about the cards. With that, we will get started with your first week of July of 2026 for Air. We have number 15 with Destiny. This is a card that's saying what happens this month, or this week, possibly this month, is going to be things that you've put into play. You've put into motion events that now Source is taking and moving forward. This isn't really going to be a time for changing your direction in the moment. It's meaning now you get to see what has been built and how that will play out in the future. It doesn't mean that you're locked in forever. It means you're locked in for now, and now it's time to see how things are going. And these particular dragons, when they come in, the Destiny dragons, they're here to explain and show you, and you can say angels if you prefer angels, but it's here to guide you and help you understand why this is happening is because of actions that have already been played. The reason that this path is the one you're on is because you've made these turns along the path. You've taken these different forks in the road. And these angels and dragons are really just saying, listen, this isn't stuff that we've done. These are things you've put in motion. In a lot of ways, that's a positive thing because you're like, oh, I don't have to work this month. But the other side is, oh no, what did I do? That's all going to be on how you interpret and how you move forward with this. Air, you love to learn, you love to be intellectual. Use this as a knowledge expanding experience in July. Your message from Source is the Water Oracle, psychic abilities, acting on visions, and it is destined. Again, that destiny energy is coming up. Things are at play that you've already started. You have put so much intention, you have put so much effort towards specific goals, specific challenges, specific things, and Source is like, okay, I'm going to show you what happens if you stay on this course, or I will show you an alternative one. That's where there's that, one step forward, two steps back type thing. That's the energy that's coming up in July. Again, you're not bad. You may just need a little redirection. There may be just some little tap on the shoulder saying, are you sure you want to go that way? Maybe over here's a better option. You also have, for your tarot, clarifying, the King of Gabriel, generous, inspirational, dramatic, and driven. You have all the goal, all the energy there. It's just maybe it needs to be redirected. Keep your eyes on the bigger picture. Leave the details to others. Let Source lead. Experience that lead to success and genuine concern for others. This is this energy of the destiny is already at play. Let Source do its thing. Don't try to steer the ship, just go with it. When you focus on the bigger picture, not action, just attention, Source will get you to where you need to go. It may just not happen in the way you originally thought. That's the vibe that I keep getting for air, is things are going to happen in the way they're meant to, just not the way you thought. So let's take a peek at our second week here of Dragons and Mystery and see what Source brings in. We have I've said this word multiple times. I always mess it up on a video. And it's number 27, Asclepius. It's one of the healing dragons, and it's healing through understanding your shadow. It's healing through the energy of you're in a bad place and you're coming out of it. This second week is saying this is going to be a week where things are healing. The second week is a week where you're becoming aware of how far you've come. And you may have to overcome a little bit more to get there. Just like in the I-ching, it talks about how the marriageable maiden is married and becomes a concubine. Steps forward and 2 steps back. Because it's time for you to look around and be like, what needs to be healed? What needs to be opened up? What do you need for your maturing as a soul? And this energy in the second week with Asclepius is here to help you embrace that healing. It's not saying that you're going to be rainbows and butterflies and unicorn farts by the end of this. It's saying if you take the time to really learn from what's happened, you'll be able to move forward into what is going to be. But sometimes you have to take that pause to let your wounds heal up. And that's kind of the energy that's coming in the second week. Your message from Source is the sweet waters, sensuality, romance, enjoyment, fertility, and balance. Air, there is a silver lining to all of this gray clouds. There's something going to be very beneficial for you. You're going through a period of growth this month, but it's not something you have control over, which is fine. The sweet waters are coming in to say, yeah, you may not be the most driven in whatever you're doing. You may end up being single for a minute. That's fine too. But you may find the love of your life because of that. You may end up in the proper situation where you can embrace life at its fullest in this moment. There's so many things that are a possibility here with that sweet waters, but it's all finding the gentle side of air, where it's not the driven. It's not the pushing forward. It's not the smartest, biggest, baddest in the room. It's the energy of quietness is what's going to really draw things to you this month. And that's what Source is saying, is if you work within this guidance of let things fall where they may, and you'll get what you need in the proper time, suddenly the plan becomes the divine plan, which we humans, good luck. I would love to know what the divine's plan is in my life. At times, other times I'm like, yeah, the mystery's kind of fun too. But what's coming up here is you don't have to be the one that dictates everything. Work with Source and let the magic of life happen. Your message from the tarot is a major arcana, so big life energy here. It's number 2 with the High Priestess and Archangel Haniel. The High Priestess is the voice of the Mother Goddess, therefore it is your intuition, your psychic abilities that will be speaking very loudly in this second week, is what I'm hearing. It's powerful psychic insights, reflections, and meditations that provide valuable information, being at peace. The High Priestess wants to remind you that yes, things may not be going the way you want. And that's okay. Because maybe this is that call to peace. Maybe this is that call to your inner world, where you get more clear on what it is that you actually want. You've been driving towards a goal. You've been driving towards something's, whatever's going on here. And at the end of the day, is that really what you want? The High Priestess is not saying you can't have it. It's saying, are you sure? And that's where you get into those intuitive insights. The sweet waters are another one. Your enjoyment, fertility, balance. It doesn't mean you're being told no. It's saying, are you sure? And that's an interesting energy when you think about it. Your third week's guide or guardian is number 18 with Luna. Still working with that divine feminine energy here, and this time it's saying really pay attention to your mind, your intuition. Intuition is an interesting one for you. Sometimes you really like it, other times you're like, get this thing off me. But in this third week, intuition is going to be a guiding force for you. Pay attention to what's going on with the moon in this third week in your specific energy as well, and embrace the shift that is occurring. If it's a waxing moon, what are you doing to grow things and make them better? If it's a waning moon, what are you releasing? If the full moon's coming around that time, because I haven't actually looked at a calendar for it, then embrace the full moon of everything is in its right moment, still with that fertility aspect too. And if it's a new moon, take the breath and break. Allow yourself calm, allow yourself quiet. This third week is the guides that are coming in are really saying tap in to your subconscious. The moon is the guidance of the subconscious, and it's interesting as the second week's card is tarot was the High Priestess, so the voice of the Mother Goddess. The lunar energy, which could be seen as the Mother Goddess as well, is coming in to be like, you heard my voice, now pay attention. Your message from the source is the Healing Lagoon. Rejuvenate, recovery, time to heal. It is safe to stop. What do you do at night? You sleep. What does sleep do? It allows you to recover. It allows you to rest. It allows you to heal. The best way that the bodies that we live in, these wonderful meat suits we carry around, to heal is through sleep. The healing waters of the Healing Lagoon tied into Luna means the healing energy is rising. It is going to be very strong in this third week. Allow it to wash you clean. If you have the urge to cry or to vent off your emotions that have built up, do so. You're not a machine, you're a human. Enjoy the humanity. It's not always fun, trust me, but you do want to allow yourself to feel in this third week and allow Source to guide you and wash you. This may be a week of offering forgiveness to others and yourself, don't forget that, but it's also the energy of, you know what, maybe I just need to take a pause. Maybe I've just been running for so long that I need a break. Could be from social break, it could be a work break, whatever. But in this third week, if you're feeling that overwhelm and your anxiety, take a breath and relax. Allow yourself that gift, because it is a gift to yourself. Your message from the tarot is the Nine of Raphael. Make a wish, dreams become reality, and a joyful time in life. This is what is going to come when you allow yourself to follow your inner guidance and to allow yourself to heal. A lot of times we as humans, just side note here, have this urge that we're not being judged accordingly if we're not working our rear ends off harder than everyone else. Workaholic here is fully aware of how that feels. But the other part is, what happens when you take a breath and you will relax? You can actually build more of your dreams and allow those to become a reality. This is a time in this month of July. It is summer in the Northern Hemisphere. Find joy in the littlest things. Is your garden doing well? Is there a flower that you saw at work that just made your on your way to work that made you happy? Are there chickens? Are there puppies? Are there calves growing bigger? This is a time where life is at fullness. Enjoy it, Air. Yes, things may not be happening in your particular timeline that you wanted, because I planned this out, because Air loves to do this. There's a 5-year, 10-year, a 15-year, a 25-year plan. Maybe that plan's not quite what your soul wants. Maybe that's not what God's source has been guiding you towards. This third week, look around. See what's being offered to you. There's a broader range of knowledge and awareness that's coming in this third week. And the 9 of Raphael is saying, and when you start to pay attention to that, then you start to have that forward momentum. Just like with the I-ching says, too late for marriage, but had a late wedding anyway. So you're going to receive in the proper time. It may not be what you think it is, though, which is an interesting way of looking at this. That's an interesting card for this reading. Your 4th week's guide or guardian is number 7 with magic and manifestation. The magic of life is the unknown. The ability to manifest is to go with the flow and allow these thoughts to actually come through. Source is guiding you this month. It may not feel like it, especially with how things have been playing so far. But in this 4th week, you're going to notice that there's a magic to life. You're going to see, oh, that's why that didn't happen that way. That's why this got shifted. That's why fill in the blank happened. Because your soul was at work and your conscious mind might have been at conflict with it. But when you start to let go and you let God and you start to tap into that inner world, all of a sudden you might start to see where you were being guided gently towards things that are really what your heart desires. Your message from Source is making waves. Momentum is building. Told ya. It's your time and achievements. Everything in its proper time, every animal in its proper season. You're making waves. You're building the tidal wave. Air. Sometimes we have to be redirected in life to find our proper path. Does that mean you're going to stay on that path forever? Probably not, because that's really rare for any of us to do. But you're being redirected right now because things may not be where you're supposed to be. You've been pushing towards a goal that may not be yours. It might be the church's. It might be your mom's, your dad's, your siblings. Will have to keep up with the Joneses down the street. Do you? Or should you be making your own waves? Should you be forging your own path? Because like water, air is very fluid in its movements. So are you boxing yourself in? Or are you going to tap into your inner strengths and allow yourself the grace and the gift of movement in any direction? Because air, you're not being contained by anybody. You might be being redirected. It's because you're putting yourself in a box. Source is trying to dump the box out. And your message from the tarot is the 9 of Gabriel. Stay determined and moving forward, but be prepared for all possibilities. You're in a good spot. You're at 3 threes. This is a divine action card. You're in a good spot, but you might just need to let go a little bit. Stay focused on the big things in life. Finding peace, finding love, finding joy. Let the rest come out in the wash. You are in this 4th week is about magic and manifestation. You are building momentum towards something. With your intuition, it's been really kicking up in that 3rd week. In the 4th week, you're starting to see the plan. You're starting to see the inner guidance. You're starting to see what source was redirecting, changing, and challenging you on. Now you can understand why. And that allows you to see a bigger picture and make your choices accordingly. Your 5th week guide or guardian, okay, male or female, this is a reading that is so full of the Divine Holy Mother. If you're a believe in Mother Mary, if you believe in Gaia or any of the other divine feminine energies, this is your month, and it manifests in this 5th week with number 32, the energy and dragons of the divine feminine. The Divine Mother wants you to know you are divinely loved. You are cared for in such a powerful way. This 5th week is where you come to that understanding. You might be through the first part of this month going, why is this happening? Dear Lord, what is happening to me? Why am I dealing with this? Because our souls and our minds are two different things. The mind of air can be very aggressive and very dominant, almost as stubborn as its opposite, Earth, just in a slightly different way. But when we tap into that divine feminine energy, air, it softens that. There is strength in stillness. And the divine feminine says there's strength in quiet. There's strength in being able to go with the flow and being mobile, being able to change as things need to change. So as you are going through this month, be aware, just because there's challenges, it does not mean something is wrong. It may mean that this may not be the best path. Where can we redirect? Your message from Source is the rainbow, sweet relief, a new beginning, and a new way forward. The end of the month, you will have opportunities being shown to you. Let's be real here, Air. They were always there, but you weren't looking. And that happens. We're human. But in this last week, with that divine feminine influence and coming to a deeper understanding of self, you'll see these other opportunities and you'll be able to make decisions that are going to allow you to grow in ways you never thought possible. Air, this month's readings are there's a lot of emotion coming in with this. And there's also a bunch of sylphs, which is the elementals of earth or air floating around here. I can feel them right now. And they're wanting to say, yes, this feels rough. This month is not looking like rainbows and butterflies and unicorn farts. Air, you've never walked away from a challenge. Your biggest challenge this month is saying, am I doing the right thing? Following that question up with, is my soul at peace with the path that I am on? Not my mind, not my ego. Is my soul at peace? If the answer to that is not a resounding yes, maybe it's time to reevaluate. Your last week's message from the tarot, you cannot make this stuff up, is number 13 with peace, with Archangel Azrael. This could also be seen, I believe, as the death card in the traditional tarot. Release the past. There's more enriching futures coming. Let go and let God. Air, this month is wrapping up saying, find your peace. If the situation you're in is causing you stress, what can you do to make it better? What can you do to make it different? If your life goals are a constant struggle and a fight, is that really what you want? To be fighting the whole time? You have the divine feminine coming in this last week with the rainbow. These two guys. Saying, take a breath. It's okay not to be the hardest, biggest, meanest person in the room. It's okay to change. Air, embrace your talents and your gifts. You're very intelligent. Sometimes too much, because you lock yourself in that way. Number 13, peace, Azrael. Release the things that no longer serve. Let go, connect in with God's source or the goddess and the lady, however you see this energy, and allow yourself the gift and the blessing of change in the right direction in accordance to your divine will, your soul's voice. With that, Air, I will let you go. This video went a little longer. I do apologize for that. Have a great rest of your month. Don't get locked into things the way they are as in the moment. Allow yourself to see things as they could be and allow that to grow and shape who you are as a soul, not as a person. and I will see you in the next video.